Hey, what's up, guys? All right, so in the last video, or the last few videos, we did the registration process where we did certain checks to see if the user satisfies all the requirements before registering. Does the password match? And then if everything is satisfied, then we proceed towards generating all the necessary stuff we need to register the user within the database, including creating a code, a verification code, and a token, a verification token as well. And then once the user is registered within the system, we then also send an email to the user account, to the user's email account, and then from there on, they get to a page where they have to then they click within the email to verify the account, and then once the account is verified, they are then redirected back to the email, I mean to the login page with that message over there showing, stating that the account was verified successfully and so forth. So now, today we're going to work on the user authentication process. All right, so the first thing we need to do now is um, we're going to create a controller within here. I'm going to name it Auth Controller. Okay, let's not forget to annotate it with the controller annotation. All right, so now in here we can do the same thing we did with the registration form. So if you remember, in the index we have the verify route, the error page route, the login route, and the index. So we can take this out of here, and just keep the index page a little bit cleaner, right? And then we copy. I just, if you saw there, I just copied the login route, and then I'm gonna paste it within here. All right, and then so within here we can do pretty much the exact same thing, the post method for the login. So I'm gonna say post mapping, and then again do the exact same thing and say login, right? And here we're gonna say public static, no, sorry, not static, I'm gonna say string. I'm not gonna do model and view because we're gonna redirect the user to a different page. So what I'm gonna do is say public string, and then say log in, right? And then we do that. The, what you call it, the parameters we're gonna need, obviously, sorry, a request param is gonna be what you call it, it's gonna be email, and then obviously we're gonna say string email, and then the other one is gonna be add request param, you're gonna say password, and then obviously we bind that to the password string. Okay, so that's the two parameters we're gonna need. So remember, it's these here. And then now we need to also have a hidden field where it generates a unique token. So um, I actually almost forgot about that. Let me just say also request param, and then we're gonna say underscore token, and then this is gonna be a string token. Okay. Did I do, what did I do there? Okay, so I'm missing a bracket there. So let me just put these on the next line so that we can see what we're doing. And then, yeah, so we got the two thing. I mean the two and the three main fields that we need. So here, because this is returning the login view, which is this over here, in here we're gonna call that token string that we created. So I'm gonna say string token, which is going to be equal to token dot generate token, right? And then here we can say get login page dot add object, right? And then we're gonna call this token, and then the value is going to be that token that we just created just now, right? Let me put some messages here. Set send token just say set his token string. We're doing this because we're gonna need this when we set up the session for the user to log in. Okay, let me remove this out statement and put it up here. Okay, there seems to be an error somewhere. Where is that? Oh, it's over here. All right, so for now, let's just return an empty string for now. All right, so now since we set up this token um, value within our get mapping for the login page, so we need to come back here and then let's see. So this is the email field, this is the password field, right? So right before the right between the button for login and the password field here, we will let's just copy this. Actually, don't need to um, don't need to type it all out from the beginning. Right here it will be hidden. Right, name is, remember we said underscore token, and then we can remove we don't need the class. So and then here we're going to say value, right? And then here we're going to say token. Okay, we will check this out before we submit the form to see if it does display, but that's how we can access the token field. All right, so what else? Yeah, so now we have this here within the let me just close these other fields here. We don't need them. We need the user. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay, so first thing we need to do here is let's just put the comments as to what we're going to do. We're going to say um, validate input fields for form data, right? Then here we'll say what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to get let's say check for email. Let's just say email exists. Okay, to do, right? The other thing that we need, um, um, let's see, we're gonna say check if value is not null, right? And then, all right, so let's first start with these because that's gonna, so now look, when we validate the form, we can do the exact same thing we did with the registration form where you create a model in here like login or something like that. So remember here we created a user model and then we created a controller advisor to return a user model, right? And then we created this model attribute and set it up within our registration form and set up our validations within the user model itself. And so when we bind the form to this particular sort of model attribute, we can then create our own error messages and so forth to validate the form. But um, if you've seen the registration form part, you should know how to do that now. But I'm not going to do this because it's going to be a bit tedious due to the fact that we still have to change these form fields to Spring tags or yeah, to Spring form tags and so forth. So I don't feel like doing that this time being. But if you saw the registration process, you should know how to do that. So, but what we can do in the Auth Controller here um, is check and see if the form fields are not empty. So if statement here, we're gonna say if let's just say email dot is empty or is equal to null. Sorry. what am I doing? We say email, right, equals to null. Uh, we can also do the same thing for the password. We can say password dot is empty and or is um, equal to null, right? Here we can set our error message. We can say uh, let's see, let's add a model and view here. Let's add a model and say model, right? Let's import this, right? So if you're not using model and view, the other way you can set objects such as this, you can just import the model object over here within the parameter of the login method, and then in here we can say model dot add attribute, right? And then in here we can set up our error messages the same way we did with this object here. Okay, so we can say um, login, or let's just say error, right? And then here we can say username or password cannot be empty, right? And then the simplest thing we can do to return to the login page, we can just say set that up as a string and say return login, right? So this is the exact same thing as we're doing here, model and view, right? So how we are setting up the view name here is how we set it up here as a simple string. That's if your method is returning a simple string. So you can set that up there, and then you can come back to, let's go to the register page and let's copy this error block that we created, right, and place it right above or right before. Oh yeah, let's put it here before the success message, right? Here we're just gonna say error and then change that to error, right? Okay, so um this is our login form, and then now the action is going to be obviously login, right? It's going to be the method equaling to post, right? And that's basically all we need, right? So let's just test out and see if our error message is going to be displaying within our error message that we set up here is going to display or not, right? So I'm going to run the server. Right, let me pause the video while it's busy deploying the application, and then we will return once it's up. How's it, guys? Okay, sorry, I terminated the application. There's one thing we need in order for the uh, the core tag to display. We need this particular JSTL tag over here. No, sorry, not that one. We need this one here mainly. But let's just copy all three of them and just paste them within at the top there. Otherwise, that error message that we set up wasn't going to display. So I'm going to run the server again, and then we'll check it out once it's up. All right, guys, the server is up so far, no errors within the console. So let's come back here, and then let's just remove that and say log in, and then refresh. So we need to refresh the page, otherwise oh yeah, the first thing we need to also check is the token string to see if it's displaying within our form. So we're just gonna open the developer tools, and then let's see a body. All right, where are we? We are in the form. Let's see, I think it's this one here. Okay, so there's our token string over there, and if we refresh, it should be a different token string than before. So let's check it out. Where are we? Form, the third one. So it should be different from the last time. So at least when we refresh, it gives a different value. All right. So there's our token string. It is now showing. So now let's see if our error message is gonna display. So let's say login. All right. As you can see, it is then checking to see that our username and password is showing or not. So if I say Sam Davis at somecompany.com, if I say login again, you see it is now displaying the error again, and then it returns us back to the login with our error message. So at least that particular part is we set it up correctly, it's working. Okay, so now that we can check whether or not our input fields are empty or not, the other thing that we need to check for is to see if the email exists. The email that the user is putting into the field, does it exist or not? So now we're gonna come back here within the user repository. So I'm gonna set those fields up here at the top. So I'm gonna say string get user email, right? Okay, so and then here we're gonna say string get user password, right? Got that right? Okay, so here we're gonna set up that query. We're gonna say query we're gonna have value, and then before I forget, I'm gonna say native query true. All right, so here we can say select email from users where email equals to that email that's passed into the parameter, which is going to be that, right? And that's pretty much it, right? And then here we're just going to say add param, and then we're going to set up email, then we're going to say string email. All right, and then we're going to use this pretty much the same query, right? So we're going to copy that, place it on top of the get password. So here we're going to say password instead of email. All right, and then we're going to say add param, we're going to say password, sorry, email, and then we're going to say string email. All right, so we got our we're going to get the email first, and then if it's not empty, we then going to get the password, right? So we come back here within the auth controller. So we're going to say first we're going to say we're going to auto wire that user repository. So we're going to say private and then user repository, and then user repository. Don't forget to auto wire. So here we're going to get the email first. Right, I'm going to say equal to user repository dot get user email, right? And then we're going to get it using that email that's passed in the through the form. Then here we're going to say right, so here we say if, right, if uh, get email in database not we're going to say if it's not empty, right? Same thing, dot is not empty, or get email in database not equal to null, right? So here we're going to get the password, right? Get password in database, right? So we're gonna say string get password in database, which is gonna equal to user repository dot get user password, where it equals to that get email within the one that we got using this particular method here, right? So then, because even if the password doesn't exist within the database, it's not gonna do anything here. It's gonna return to we're gonna return to the um what you call it. But I'll show you just now. Let me just type this out. So now what we need to do is verify the passwords using the bcrypt function. So here what we're going to do is if another if statement, or let's say validate password. Okay, so here we're going to say if, remember this returns a boolean, so we're going to say bcrypt, right, dot check password. So the password that we're checking is the one that's being pulled from the database. It's this one. No, actually no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's correct. uh we're gonna get the password within the database, right? The one that we are passing through the form, it's that one. And then we're gonna get the one that's uh, stored within the database. So this is how we're checking the one the user is placing within the form, and then we're using the email that's verified up here to get that password, the password that's stored within the database, right? And then once we get that password, we compare the one the user is inputting within the field, the form field, and then the one that's stored within the the database. So this bcrypt method returns a boolean. If these two passwords match, if they don't match, we then gonna return again to the error, to the what you call it, to the login page, and state that incorrect username or password. So error will be incorrect username or password. All right. um yeah, that's basically it. Otherwise, here, or let me just comment this out, comment this correctly here. Okay, right. And then here we're going to say else if that username or if that email the user is inputting within the field doesn't exist. We're going to take this, and this time we're going to return the user to the error page. And then because in the error page we already have that set up within the request scope, here we can just say something like something went wrong, please uh, contact support, right? That's that. And then what else? I think that's it. Let me just use this here. Let's see. Yeah, we can remove this. All right. So yeah. So just to recap, we're checking if the import the fields are not empty. If they're not, we then proceed to come here. We're gonna get the email the user is in placing within the form. If it does exist within the database, we come here. We check that if it's not empty and if it's not equal to null, get the password from the database where it equals to that email, right? And then here we check that password. So, and then if the password is incorrect, it's gonna come here, and then it's gonna redirect them back to the what you call it, to the login page. So if all of that checks out, um down here, let me just create another one to do. We're gonna check and see, check if user account is verified, right? And then what else? Otherwise, if not, if everything is verified here, well, I'm going to say to do proceed to log the user in. All right. So if everything passes here, then we will move to these steps over here. So, but let's just check this particular part here and see if it displays our error messages. I'm gonna run the server. We'll test it back. We'll test it once the application has been deployed. One moment for me, please. All right, guys, the server is up. So far, no errors within the console. So let's just test out our application. So I'm gonna refresh over here. Okay, so first check is username and password cannot be empty. So let's just say Sam Davis, right? The password I set up, let me just see. Yeah, the password I set up was password123. So I'm gonna input a incorrect password and let's see if it displays our error message. So I'm gonna say password1234. Okay, so let's click login. So as you can see, it then displays whether or not um, our password it's now able to get whether or not our correct password and verify the, I mean, what you call it, it's getting the email and then it's checking whether it exists within the database. If it does, we then pull the password based on that email, and then if that though they don't match, then it's going to say incorrect username or password. So now I'm going to insert a password an email account that doesn't exist. So I'm going to say John. So remember, we only have one user here, Sam Davis, right? We don't have any other user. So I'm going to say John, let's say John Doe at some company, and you can put whatever password in there. It then, since this doesn't exist, it's going to send us, it's supposed to send us to the error page. So let's click login. And as you can see, okay, so it's not displaying our error message. Let's see. Auth controller.login, null exception pointer. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, uh, we might need to change this. Um, this makes me uncomfortable. The fact that it gives these errors here, um, where it doesn't. I know that this checks whether or not um, if it's not empty. So let's see. Oh yeah, let's do this. Not equal to null, right? No, that's not gonna work. If it's equal to null, um, yeah, but that should work. But in any case, let me see if I can do something like get email in database if equals to. No, that's not gonna work either. All right. In any case, what I was going for here was that if it's not empty and if there is a value, do this whole process. Otherwise, just redirect the user back and show them this error message. But instead, it's having an issue with uh, that null, that null pointer exception value there, and so forth. I'll figure out as to how I can set this up accordingly so that at least we can verify if it's not empty and whatnot. We should jump to this particular statement over here. So yeah, but in any case, the first two parts where we verify the user account, it shows whether or not the password is incorrect or not, and then because it's showing because this email doesn't exist, um, it does pretty much pick up that there is no email account, but it's just the error message. How we are handling it is not ideal. So, but yeah, that should be it. In any case, I'll find a way in which I can set up this accordingly. But yeah, for now, at least we are able to get the correct details within the database and to see if the password that the user is putting in is correct or not. Here, you can set up an message again, right? So this one will just be success, right? This is just to check to see if we do put in the correct password, um, does it pick up or not? uh, Login successful, and then we're going to return to the login page. I'm going to test this part, and then I'll be back once it's deployed the application. All right, the server is now up, so let's just check and see if when we log in, will it display that success message or not. All right, so Sam Davis, the password was password 123. So if you click there, uh, okay, so it looks like I placed in put in the incorrect password. um, I'll copy that. Oh, you know what, in fact, I'm a bit dumb here. I was a bit dumb here. Okay, so basically I'm checking if the password is empty along if it's not empty along with whether or not it's null at the same time. So that was a bit stupid of me. So I'm supposed to say if it's not equal to null, something like that, right? um I'm gonna save that, and then I don't know if that's the reason why it's saying incorrect username or password, but um I wasn't supposed to say if it is equal to null. It's stupid of me to do that, but in any case, you guys probably saw that and we're probably banging on the screen to change that value. But in any case, let's test again, and then when it's up, we will see if we can get our values there. One moment for me, please. All right, guys, the server is up. Let me refresh again. You know what? I want to test with that John Doe account first. Let me see password, whatever. Okay, still hasn't changed anything. In any case, Sam David. Okay, so still something is wrong there. Okay, in any case, I'm gonna end the video here. I think we should attend to this in the next video to see how we can clean this up. Clearly I've made a mistake somewhere here, but in any case, yeah, that's all the checks that we needed to do in terms of before comparing the two passwords and all of that. So in the next video, we're gonna just try and clean this up so that we can do our checks accordingly. All right, guys, that's it for the video for the time being. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you within the next video. Cheers for now.